Good morning, everyone. Nice to see your faces. Welcome to the next Satsang and Guided Meditation. Let's just do a quick check-in, and we'll start with Anita.
Hi, morning all. All good, thanks on myself. Looking forward to meditation. We miss it when we don't do it. Yeah, looking towards it. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice that you joined us today again. Welcome. Vanessa.
Good morning, everybody. Good to be back. Yes, I had a good week. It's a busy week. Looking forward to the quiet time. Yes, but it's good to be back. Yes, looking forward to it. Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Thank you. Morning. Welcome. Nikki.
Morning, everyone. I had quite a nice week. Dave's dad came down from Joburg for a couple of days visit, so it was always nice having him there. We actually convinced him finally to move down here.
Okay.
The big thing's on the change. We're going to have to get another room and bathroom sorted before December. But that's exciting because Dave and his dad are so close, and you could see the tears whenever they say goodbye to each other. So it's just going to be such a relief to get him down here, So yeah, exciting things happening outside.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Nice. Next.
Hi. Actually my week went so quickly I can't even remember if it was good or bad. So I'm presuming it was good.
That's a good sign.
And it's nice to welcome this warm weather again this weekend. And we're looking forward to a good start to the Sunday and then some outdoor activity. So happy.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome.
Okay.
Mickey.
Hi, morning everyone. My week also flew by. Can't remember much of it, but looking forward to today's session. Thanks.
Great stuff. Okay. So just a quick check-in from me. Also, all good. Loved catching up with Vanessa yesterday, and so everything that needed to go has gone. And my kids helped me pack the last few stuff. So, yes, I look so forward to next weekend, packing in everything in the truck and unpacking it on Sunday morning. And start with a housey again and find a place for everything. So, it brings up some emotions in saying bye to the kids and stuff, but I'll see them in December, so it's all good. So so that's just me. I haven't connected with the group energy yet for our card, but I put the deck ready here, and the one that I've chosen today is again the Magical Mermaids and Dolphins one, and it is let's see which one they want for our group today. Asking for a divine message for the group. It is Make a Wish, and it is a mermaid touching the unicorn's horn, and whatever you call that. They say this is a magical moment. Make a wish and enjoy its manifestation. So let's read the message. Say an affirmative prayer right now, stating your desire as if it were already true. Thank heaven for this reality and feel in your heart and your belly that your dreams is actually a reality. For example, Thank you, Heaven, for, and then whatever your desire is. I'm truly grateful for your continuous support. One of the nice Native American ones is also, I thank Spirit for the blessings already on its way. Because we don't always are aware of what strings are being pulled on the other side. And when we thank the blessings coming, more blessings are coming because we are gratefully receiving them. Now is a magical moment. Go into a quiet space, even if it's just for a moment. Close your eyes and imagine that wish has come true. Feel it with your entire being. Then express thanks for the gifts and release it like a helium balloon that goes straight to heaven. If you need to take action to co-create this wish, you will be given strong and repetitive guidance in the form of feelings, thoughts, ideas, inner words, signs, visions, or dreams. It's important for you to follow this guidance in order to bring the wish into physical form. So guess what the theme of our meditation is going to be? Most definitely will be doing that. So as I thought of which parable to read this morning, I got that strong message. It should be number 20. And it is Wu and the Big Wind. God has promised us that being in our contract means being in our passion. It also means that we will be in the right place at the right time for everything that we have planned for ourselves in this lifetime. Here is our last story, one that might make you think twice about what you feel is the right place and the right time. And so the parable starts. We spoke before of the individual entity whom we call Wu. Now Wu is the name we give to this human walking on planet Earth. Wu is meant to represent male and female, for when we are not here, we are neither. But for the purpose of the story, we'll make it easy to tell. Wu is a male. For this story is a journey of Wu and the Big Wind. Wu is an enlightened individual who lived in a very small island with many others. Wu lived a good life, for he was indeed on a spiritual path. We would call Wu a warrior of light, for Wu meditated and followed God. He had 5 children whom he taught the essence of God through his love. Wu was greatly loved by his neighbors, for they recognized that he was a good man. And so we find Wu living on the island. And daily Wu would say, "Oh God, I love you. I want so much to be in my contract, the right place at the right time. That is what I want." As Wu moved forward in life, year after year, he would daily go down to the beach, and with the sound of the surf crashing in his ears, he would get as close to the water as he could without getting wet. And there he would sit. Wu would say, "Oh God, put me right where I belong. I don't care if it takes me away from here. I want to be in my sweet spot, my contract. Now you see, Wu is doing this correctly. And he was greatly honored for this. Wu would say, and in this new age, oh dear God. So now you know the inner workings of Wu's life and his mind. This is who Wu was. We would say, in this new age, oh dear God, there is something I would like as a gift. I know there are some who never get this, but if it's appropriate, let me see my angel guides, even just for once. A great storm approached this island and had tremendous ferocity. Wu was frightened, for it appeared as though the storm was going to pass right through his house. In hundreds of years, there had never been a storm like this one, for it was powerful indeed. As it approached, there were many who left the island, but Wu remained, knowing full well that he would be in the right place at the right time. And as he had co-created it. Any minute, Wu expected the wind tumultuously changed course, but you see, it didn't. Instead, it got worse and worse. And so residents were sequestrated in their homes and told, do not go out. You will be harmed if you do so. So the folks stayed in their homes, and they watched the winds come and the waters rise. They saw their homes start to disintegrate, and pieces of others' homes fly away. They were very afraid, but Wu was silent. He did not talk to God about what was happening. You see, Wu was angry. In fact, he was mad, for Wu felt that he had been betrayed. How many years do I ask for one thing, and now, when the time arrives, I didn't receive it, complained Wu. As the winds grew stronger and Wu grew angrier, God did not deliver my family and me from this inappropriate place, yelled Wu in desperation as he heard and felt the back porch of his house tear from its attachments. Then the power failed. Wu heard trucks coming through the streets to pick up people. The speakers on the trucks announced, "You are not safe. Get in these trucks while you still can. We're going to take you to a school where the building is solid. There you will be in a safe shelter." And so it was that the large trucks went about gathering all the people on the island, taking them to the various schools and churches. Wu ended up in one of the largest schools that was near his home. He and his family braced themselves for the short trip from the truck into the school, and with many other neighbors struggled against the wind and driving in the rain into the entrance. Once there, he looked into his neighbors' wet faces, all blank and fearful. But in Wu's eyes, there was only anger at God that he should find himself in such a situation. Everyone made their way down the stairways to the basement of the great building. As they crouched in the cold corners where they thought it was safe, indeed the power failed there too, and they were in the dark. Out came the candles, but then the water started coming in, and the wind started tearing at the fiber of the school building itself. They started hearing the groaning of the cement and of the wood. They huddled in the dark, terrified, making no sounds of their own at all. Then Wu came to an astonishing conclusion. He realized that he was not afraid. He was very angry, but he was not afraid. He looked around and saw those huddled down in the hallways in ankle-deep rising water, freezing without any heat or even candlelight. Since the candles only lasted for an hour. He also saw their terror, for many that night felt the entire group was going to die. How could it not be so? For they were told that the eye of the storm was not even upon them, and that they were going to experience winds that were even worse. If the school disintegrated, they would surely be at the mercy of all these elements of the wind and the rain. No human that night had ever experienced the power of nature like they were experiencing it now. And so Wu stood from this place where he had been seated in anger. And he hugged his family and said, "There's work, yeah, you will be safe." And he looked into the eyes of his children and said, "Look, there is no fear in my eyes because I have been promised that we are going to be safe." And Wu left and began going from neighbor to neighbor and from group to group. Wu told them of his love for God and told them that God had never failed them. He told them that they would be safe and that he imparted to them the love that can only come from an enlightened human being. As he left each group, he saw that the terror also left, and like a black cloud had dissipated, they were left with hope. Some of the groups started singing songs. So instead of terror and silence of fear, the sound of singing replaced it. Some of the groups started laughing by telling humorous stories of their lives, and their fear dissipated. The terror left. Wu had made his way from group to group, did his work that night, and like some of the miracles, the fiercest winds never arrived. Instead, the storm reversed itself and went on its way, slowly diminishing instead of intensifying. So just before the time Wu's work was done, the storm had abated enough that the people got the word to return to their homes in the very tracks that had brought them to the school. The sun was coming out, and Wu realized that they had been there all night. As they walked outside, the wind had almost totally died down. How quickly it retreated. The birds were singing, and as the sun came out, and everyone made their way back to their homes. Oh, and some of them had great sorrow that their homes were destroyed. And oh yes, Wu was among all those neighbors, seeing that his roof and porch were gone, and the water had come in and ruined many things. So it was in the weeks that followed that the rebuilding began, and it went smoothly, slowly on the island, and a story began unfolding. You see, there were news reports of what had happened that night in the school. People were telling stories of that fearful night, saying, there was a man and his associates who came to us in the dark at the worst moment of our fear. They told us that we were safe and gave us hope. They replaced the darkness with love and peacefulness. They brought sanctuary to our terrified consciousness, and they also brought humor. They gave us a song, and it changed us that night, for we knew we no longer were afraid. Our children responded first, for we saw it in the eyes of the children, the fact that they were no longer terrified. And then we relaxed. The man's name was Wu. Group after group reported about this amazing event, and to Wu's embarrassment, they asked him to come to a ceremony where he would be honored. And so, begrudgingly, Wu went to the ceremony and heard the testimony of the neighbors telling how he and his associates had helped that night. After the ceremony, Wu went to the beach. There he sat down next to the water. Then Wu realized that being in the right place at the right time, what that meant. He realized that all his prayers and all his co-creative abilities as a human being in this new age had come to fruition. You see, Wu had prayed to be at the right place at the right time, and that's exactly where he was. He realized that his prayers had been answered 100%. Then Wu wept, for he realized that 100% co-creation meant that his guides had also been seen that night. Every group of neighbor had seen 3, Wu and his 2 associates. Wu knew that he had gone into the darkness alone to help his neighbors that stormy night in the school. So he thought, yet everyone saw his angels. God had answered his prayers, all of them, although Wu was not aware of it at the time. His angelic guides had been seen clearly in the candlelight. His neighbors had described them, and through the voices of those he helped, Wu saw his angels. Oh, it's true that he had lost his home, and it's true that some possessions had been destroyed. But the contract he had agreed to before he came had been accomplished, and everything paled in comparison to that. All of the co-creative prayers had centered around being in the right place at the right time. Wu realized that God had honored him with a complete, full miracle of co-creation. From that time forward, Wu knew what it meant to co-create and pray for his contract. He knew that it did not mean that he would be spared all of the tests. It had not meant that he would not be present when the earth shook. It meant that he would be in his sweet spot and he will be in total peace when those things took place. And it meant that he would be available for facilitation of other human beings when it was needed the most. It changed his life, for he discovered his passion, that of being able to bring peace in the lives of others, in the right place, at the right time. The author's postscript. When I agreed to do the Kryon work, I expected that I would be directly in my contract. I expected my sweet spot of passion to allow me to be in the right place at the right time. For all of the things to be perfect and appropriate. That is what God promised. In my innocence of the way that spiritual things work, I didn't understand that being in my sweet spot required the dark test that came with it. I love the fact that tens of thousands of New Age people all over the planet appreciate the books and wrote to tell me so. This indeed was a sweet spot. I was astounded to receive the invitation to the SEAT group within the United Nations and to actually go there and speak and meet such wonderful planetary light workers. I was amazed when the Kryon magazine took off and thousands subscribed, and when my American online folder became the most popular New Age venue in their history. Then came the tax on the work. And like Wu, I became angry. How could I carry around white paint can for years and suddenly some call it black? How can one light worker attack another? Where is the love? I couldn't understand why the name of Kryon was being seen as some as evil and treacherous. The misquotes, the twisted words. Why would someone do such a thing? Now, in retrospect, I see that God put the integrity of the work right in the fire. It caused people to rethink what was being offered. It made the discernment the key issue in the New Age. It made us all think twice about believing just any message that we happened to come across from any entity. Through all rethinking, Kryon emerged as a love-filled messenger that he said he was, and thousands throughout the country reaffirmed it in writing and verbal thanks. I had gone through my big wind. I had sat on the beach with Wu and also wept in joy of knowing that I was exactly there where I was supposed to be. The end. So what was interesting for me when I heard when Vanessa came for a session is, and we played catch up, and I told her about everything that I've been through this year, because we saw one another a year ago. It was my big win that I had to walk through, and all the perceived losses and things that's been ripped away and cleared and whatever. And she said, as looking from an outsider, she can see the cleansing and the growth and the other things. Sometimes when we emotionally attach to stuff, or when we're in it and we experiencing the emotions, we don't get to see the bigger picture or how it does changes for the better or whatever. And it's like sometimes when we go through those big wind experiences, we might think, I followed instructions, I listened, I followed my intuition, I did this and I did that, and this is what I got. It's like, really? And it is. It's to review our big win experiences and see it differently, see it through different perceptions. That's where they say, where you change the way you look at things, the things you look at changes. So it's not to necessarily see that which was lost, but that which was gained. That was gained in experience, gained in wisdom, gained in understanding, gained in clearing, gained in whatever way. So that is my take on that, realizing that I've gone through a big wind and asked for this, prayed for this, got this, and now the winds of change moves on again. And even our life work, it's like, as I let that go, money from other places came to me, and I thought, okay, so it's still, all I need to do is my light work, stand in my truth, do it with integrity, and not worry about the other things. So yeah. Anyway, so what are you taking away from the parable?
It's hard to know when to trust that you're in the right place at the right time, because the emotions are so heightened.
Yes.
How do you step back from that and trust? It's, I've been seeing it now with us, after the fact, you can look back and say, oh, yes, that, blah, 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 everything worked out well, but at the time, it's just impossible to see.
So the key message in the parable was that he did ceremony, he asked for it, and in hindsight, he could see that it was 100% fulfilled. And that ties in with our card of Make-A-Wish. But it comes also with a message that everything is not as it seems. And that is what Kryon's, the big parable, The Journey Home. When you read that, the main message in there, or one of the main messages, is everything is not as it seems. And sometimes when we think something is going wrong, something is actually going right. Exactly what we've asked for, but we can't see it in that moment because we see it as a wrongdoing. We put the wrong label on it, and it is to tell our future selves that with our hindsight wisdom, to tell ourselves that, okay, so I'm always at the right place. And that's why I like one of the affirmations that one can say when you in uncertain times or situations or places is, what is right about this that I'm not seeing? Because it's to change the energy from wrong to right. So what is right about this that I'm not seeing? What is right about this that I'm not getting? Because when we look at it then from that vantage point, we can see the wisdom earlier on.
Yeah.
While we still have a judgment about it, then we can't see that. And it's so even if the worst happens, whatever. Also, it's like when they calm down, the storm calmed down.
Yeah.
And in there's another puzzle piece. It is the energy that we approach things with that makes it either worse or subtler. We can calm the storm that we walk through with our energy. We take calm in there, the storm becomes calm. If we take all fears and agitations and how much worse can it get? Oh wow. If you take that energy into stuff, it's gonna show you how much worse it can get.
Yeah.
That is the key. That is how we co-create, and so we have to realize that power of co-creation, or self-sabotaging and destructive behaviors or patterns that we do. So it's to become more consciously aware about the energy that we bring into situations, places, and so forth. And so even if you can't see it at that moment in time, it's like, what is I want to say, what is your mantra? What is it that you're telling yourself? Because that's what you're going to get out of it. And yes, we can have our angry moments and feel God has forsaken me, or all this positive humble jumble, and now look what happened, and all this angels and they're supposed to help you, and now see what happened. It's not to see that as wrong and that you have been done in by. It is to see, okay, so there's something else at play here that I'm currently not seeing or appreciating. And they shifted the energy with laughter, and that's what they say enlightenment is all about, is lightening up that load, that heavy feelings. Because sometimes when the worst happens, all you are left to is just laugh about it, because you can't do anything more about it. And it's when you bring that laughter out of desperation or out of I don't know what anymore, then the energy around that changes. So it's to be aware of, to find that calm and peace. Doesn't matter how the wind blows. And winds of change constantly blows for everyone. The enlightened ones, the not enlightened ones, it's not a certain group is exempt from. Winds will not come your way if you say your prayers in this direction to this God on this day. No, the winds blow for everyone, every human being. But it's not to see it as a punishment from God. And I think the old energy was more the thing, oh, God is punishing us, and what did we do wrong, and how could this be, and all that. And it's to just drop the judgment, because we come here to walk through these stuff, walk through these challenges, walk through these changes, and ultimately it makes us stronger. It makes us more victorious. It makes us more resilient. We transmute stuff and we change stuff without always being aware of it. Others can see it in us. We don't necessarily at that moment in time see it. I think, wow, you're such a strong woman walking through all these tough things. And you don't necessarily see it because you feel like you're just weak and you can just, but it's so sometimes you see it through others' eyes. You get to experience it through others' eyes and say, oh, okay, thanks for showing it to me.
Yeah.
And this, all that we ask for, we get. Alrighty. Next, Anita, Mickey, anything that you would like to add from your side?
Not much, but it is so true when you say you get what you ask for. It is so true. I mean, and it's not always very easy to, like Nikki said, to well, I found when I'm in the situation, and you tend to blurt out stuff that you don't want more of. But you do, you know, and I'm like, and it's just trying to change that habit, really. Sure. Yeah, it's you know, that's like the default. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although more, the more and more we talk about this type of stuff, the more aware you are. So I think the closer to us changing the default, you know. Yeah. Sure.
In
It seems so
2000
easy, and you know, chatting about it, but yeah.
when
And
you're in
after the fact.
yes.
Yes.
In 2000, between 2004 and 2008, I had about 44 dream journals that I wrote. And in that, I wrote certain positive affirmations. I wrote it over and over and over and over and over and said it day after day after day after day after day after day after day. And many a times when I go through a difficult thing, that will pop up as a default. And the positive feedback will come, and I will not get it or understand it, and I'll say, okay. But I realized that the work that I've put in those years has become my default, and it is.
Excellent.
We just need a reminder of our power and our ability to change stuff. Because there's certain things that we do have control over, and how we think and feel, we have control over. And it's not to give power away, but to take power back and say, okay, how am I going to shift this? And we have to be aware of what mantras or affirmations or stuff can we tell ourselves to shift the energy. And not to believe the stories that we can't, or that this is bigger than us, or whatever. Yes, sometimes you have to surrender. But there's an appropriateness in that which gets taken away. It's usually for your highest good. We don't always see it that way. Trust me. At the moment, we don't always see it that way. But it's like, for instance, when I had to give up Artemis in January, because I had to make a choice. It was very difficult, but I've trusted that I did the best for her, because I've moved too many times and she's not such an adaptable cat, and I needed to leave her in a safe place where she could just be, and that she's better off, and that I've given her another opportunity. So sometimes we have to make difficult things, but ultimately it works out for the better for all.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Anything from the other ladies? Not? Okay. Okay, so then we will go into the meditation. So I want you just to be comfortable and be relaxed. And welcome to today's guided meditation. We'll get to the opportunity to make a wish. I want you to close your eyes, breathing in deeply and exhaling fully. Allow this tone, this vibration, this frequency to go in, through and around your aura. Clearing the space within and around you. And I want you to bring your focus to your breathing. With slow, deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And whatever the remnants energy is that you're ready to detach, release, and let go of from any big winds that you had to walk through in the clearing and preparation for what's to come, in the making space of a new. Just detach, release, and let go of your emotions that's attached to that. Breathe it out, breathe it out, breathe it out. Let it go, set it free, let it be. And becoming more and more relaxed, more and more at ease, more and more at peace. Just stilling and quietening the mind, surrendering the thoughts and feelings, and dropping in a deeper sense of inner peace and tranquility as you surrender and release, surrender and release, surrender and release. And in this quiet, I want you now to visualize yourself stepping into the most beautiful garden or forest area, or by the sea, wherever you feel going today. Wherever your spirit calls to. Now I want you to journey, walk through, follow the way to the sacred space that you are going to choose to sit and connect in. And as you are there, you gently sit down in a lotus position with your spine aligned and your hands softly upon your knees with your palms facing up. I want you to take 3 slow, deep breaths in and out through your heart, opening up your heart. Allowing your heart energy to expand and through more of your out breaths, you're breathing the unconditional love that's within you around your aura. as this unconditional love now fills up your emotional body all around you. It expands with the next out breath now into the mental body all around you. Allowing your mental body to fill up with the unconditional love within yourself and for yourself and all others. And with the next out breath, it now expands into your spiritual body all around you. Feel or sense this thick, soft pink, loving energy surrounding your entire being. Well, again, your higher life. Calling in your mission councils and ascension councils, all of the light, your guardian angels, and all beings of light that work with you and through you and helps you with your work here on earth. Thanking them always being with you through the storms and the big winds that you had to walk through in your life. The support and the guidance that has always been there, if you had been aware of it or not, or been able to see it in hindsight. Just have gratitude in your heart for having walked through those lessons. Where hindsight has been your 2020 vision, I want you now to take the 2020 vision and project it forward. And know that the same levels of protection, guidance, and support is available to you. Claiming back your power, your strength, your magnificence, your puzzle piece of God that you are, and your ability to co-create with Spirit all that you wish to in this lifetime with your free will choices. And you are now given an opportunity to make a wish. And I want you to feel what that wish is within your heart. Give it some thought or feeling. What is it that you wish to co-create from this day forward? And I want you just to communicate it to Spirit that's listening with you. to you. This is your time to communicate your wishes clearly. What is it that you choose to? What are the choices for yourself in that which you choose to experience? Regardless of what has happened in the past, what is your conscious choices going forward in peaceful and harmonious environments, experiences? Abundance, consciousness, experiences of deep love, appreciation. What is it that you are so grateful for? All the things that work out perfectly in your life. Knowing that there's always balance. Divine justice always prevails. Now asking that you are shown if there's any adjustments that you need to make within yourself, about yourself, how you feel or perceive things to be more in alignment, to co-create this wish that you've asked for. Attend to the internal processing now, to meet it with the same energy that you're creating it, co-creating it with Spirit. Effortlessly. By being it and vibrating at its frequency. And being its magnet to magnetically attract it into your life. And affirming that wish has already been fulfilled with I am, and completing the affirmation. Thank your highest teachers and guides that's always with you. Thank your guardian angels and all beings of light. Thank you to God for this experience here on earth. And with peace in your heart, gently come back to this now moment. Rotate your hands, rotate your feet. Stretch and make sure that you're properly back into your body. And then just visualize the most beautiful silver golden bubble of light all around you. See it coming down at the front of your body, the back of your body, the left side and the right side of your body, and gently tuck beneath your feet, 2 feet below you. And when you're ready, you ground this bubble of light within the core of Mother Earth. Anchor it with all these new energies that you've sealed in and grounded. And feel the support of Mother Earth for this energy that you bring, coming back up your grounding cord and back into your bubble of light. And take 3 slow in breaths and out breaths. And when you are ready, you may gently start opening up your eyes. And how was that meditation for you? Anything you would like to share with me?
Yes, I would. I think for me, it was about happiness. So my wish for myself was about being happy and for the people around me to be happy. There was an affirmation that you requested to make during meditation. And so for me, it was, I wish to always travel the path of happiness, because I realized in lockdown, nothing mattered. All the material wealth, all the material things didn't matter. All we were striving for is to be happy within ourselves. And what did it take? It took time to be with yourself. So I think for me in life, I would just want to be happy and travel the journey of being happy, whatever it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it's to say I choose happiness regardless of what's happening at work or at home or the choices that other people make, because sometimes other people don't choose to be happy. They still choose to play the victim or the this or the that, and say, okay, I'll leave them with their choices, but I'm making choices for me. And it's to realize that I am happy. I choose to be happy. And it's to take that energy into each experience. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, Anita. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share anything, realization or? Okay. So you may all your wishes come true in a peaceful and harmonious way, in the best way possible for you. And may your journey this week be where you keep on being aware that you can make wishes. We don't just have one wish. It's not just you can have one wish and and nothing else. It's like, so okay, so go, what else am I choosing for myself? And live that, be that. Have a wonderful week. Lots of love and blessings. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Fiona.
Bye.
Good
Bye,
luck with the
everyone.
move.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.